So his name was Joseph, but he was such an encouragement to the apostles that they gave him a nickname. And his nickname is Barnabas. That's an interesting nickname. Those of you who know anything about biblical language know that the word bar means son. And so we have, for example, Peter. Before his name was Peter, he was called Simon Bar-Jonah. And that means Simon Bar, son of Jonah. Son of Jonah, Simon Bar-Jonah. So Peter was the son of Jonah. So his name was Simon Bar-Jonah. So the word bar simply means son of. And now this is Barnabas. And so we know that the word bar means son. And what would you be known for if your name was changed? Would you be called Bar Weiner? And Weiner's with an H? Or would you be called Bar Cheapskate? Maybe Bar, oh, I told you so. Don't you just love those people? I told you so. You probably have someone in your family like that. My grandmother was like that, and my mother was like that. They'd always say, well, I told you so. So I got to really dislike that phrase, I told you so. And you probably don't like it either. We don't like people who are bar I told you so's. Or maybe you're bar gossiper. Would you be known for that if they changed your name? Would you be bar gossiper? Or maybe you'd be called bar liar. Someone who has a hard time telling the truth. Or maybe you would be called bar flirt. Or bar adulterer, even worse. Or maybe you would be called bar Smith and Wesson, which translated, now listen carefully and stick with me, bar means son, so this is son of a gun. Oh, that was pretty weak, wasn't it? Just wanted to see if you're awake. Okay, well, maybe on the other hand, you'd be called the son of generosity. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Or maybe you'd be called the son of mercy, or the son of a healer, or the son of a servant, or the son of a musician. You guys over here, that would be your name, son of a musician. I'd like to be known as son of good news. You know, I just think of how different the church would be if we as a church were known as the sons of good news. So often when people think of the church, they think of judgment. Wouldn't it be nice instead of being known for judging one another, you know, and we've had all that nominating nonsense in the past and try to figure out if a person's worthy to be an elder. Well, nobody is. You know, instead of being known for judging, wouldn't it be nice to be known for good news? Son of good news. Well, Barnabas was known as the son of encouragement. Well, I took it upon myself as I was doing research and studying for this sermon today that I've decided I've got to be more encouraging to other people. If I want other people to encourage me, I have to encourage them. So, Bar Son. All right, you'll never forget the Bar Smith and Wesson, will you? That was pretty bad. All right, we'll go on. The Bible says in Acts 4:37, talking about Joseph, who now is named Barnabas, he sold a field he owned, and he brought the money to the apostles. Now, I told you what I did before about the tribe of Levi because I wanted you to see something here. The tribe of Levi had no land. So for him to own land was very unusual. It was very special for a Levite to own land. So he owns land, but he sees how much the apostles need the money. And so what does he do? He sells his land and he brings the money to the apostles. Isn't that neat? That's an awesome story. He's not supposed to be rich in terms of worldly things. He's supposed to be serving in the temple. He doesn't own any land, at least not his family. Somehow or another, he comes in to some land. Perhaps he married someone of a different tribe who had land. And that person died and left it to him. We don't know how he got land. But anyway, he has land. Maybe he won the lottery and he bought land. We don't know. But he had land, but now he sells it and he gives the money to the apostles. Isn't that neat? What's even more interesting to look at is that as you read on from Acts chapter 4, right after this, you find the story of Ananias and Sapphira who sold land and they gave money to the apostles just like Barnabas, only this time they kept some of the money back for themselves while pretending to give all of it. And we know what happened to them, as the Bible says they were struck dead. Well, as Barnabas is encouraging the disciples or the apostles, there's this other guy, and his name is Saul, and he's out threatening to kill the Lord's followers. He's wanting to get rid of them. And so he goes on a road. It's called Damascus, the road to Damascus. He goes on the road to Damascus because he's going to hunt down Christians and bring them to trial, probably even execute them. And that was what Saul was all about. I mean, that was his mission in life. But then he has this Damascus Road experience where the Lord appears to him in a bright light, and he has a change of heart. He becomes a Christian. And while that was good for the Christian church, the Jews viewed him as a traitor, and the Jews wanted to kill Apostle Paul. They wanted to kill him. So he's in fear, really, of his life. The Bible tells us in Acts 9, because this is the next story about Saul and Paul. Saul changed his name to Paul after that experience on the Damascus Road. It says Saul arrived in Jerusalem, and he tried to join, the Christian church. Tried to join the followers. But they were all afraid of him because they did not believe he was a true follower. Then the Bible says, and notice this, then Barnabas helped. Here's this guy who is notorious for convicting and even killing Christians. And now he pretends, according to the way they're thinking, to be a Christian so he can find out who they are, kind of an insider. So he can find out who they are, and so he can persecute and kill them too. So the disciples and the followers, they're not ready to accept Paul. His name was Saul, but changed to Paul. They're not ready to accept him because they don't trust him. They think he's up to something because he had this reputation to live down. And so he comes and he pretends, they think. They didn't know he was being sincere. They assume that he's pretending. And Barnabas comes to his rescue. And Barnabas says, wait a minute, this guy is the real thing. This guy has had a change of heart. This guy is now one of us.